Darkseer mid is like. I'm actually going to go check on his stream. Oh, sweet, he's actually online. All right.
I've seen Darkseer mid come from Thompson as well. He actually played it in one of their Western Europe series that I casted earlier in the tour. So the way he builds it is like Echo Saber Ags. I don't know if that's what we're going to be seeing from Small KK, but that is the kind of general build, I think, from these mid Darkseers.
Okay. I really want to see this. Have you ever seen this late in your life? Pango Darkseer?
No, I'm trying to remember who Thompson laned against with a Darkseer. I think it was into an Ember Spirit, and I think he did pretty well, from what I remember. As I said, like, the way that I think about it is Small KK kind of purely has to Iron Shell himself, which is a little unfortunate. I guess in the mid lane, you really don't want to be shoving waves all too hard. You want to try and get some trades as much as you can in these melee lanes. But I think Pango is going to do really well. These swashbuckles and shield crashes are going to be able to allow him to man up in this mid lane as well. Just kind of trade right clicks with the Darkseer until it gets to the point that the Pangolier is really strong. And I mean, Orb of Corrosion is going to absolutely melt this Darkseer. But I mean, I'm sure there's like the 3 Darkseer fans in chat right now that are like, actually, it looks very good for the Darkseer. He does really well into melee heroes. So
what do you mean 3? There's 2 of them. Lyrical streaming, remember?
All right. Well, their Lord Commander in Lyrical is streaming his own gameplay right now.
We are underway right now. The pause has finally subsided, and we're going to be able to check things out. Holy Grail, not only do I back their draft, but all China aficionados will know Summer Terrorblade, man. This is his most played hero, one of his highest win rates. A perfect game to be playing Terrorblade into. Like, you've got 2 bodies in front of you with Dolem and Gun running interference. You've got Salvation from DQQ. You've got another body with SJ. Goddamn. The only way this gets better is if, like, you could have a 6th hero and that 6th hero was Silencer somehow.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for him as well is he only really has to worry about, like, being roared, and they've got disruption for that. So he should be fine. SJ,
he is not fine. He is very, very dead. He went on a very weird circuitous route towards the right-hand side to try and maybe backstab the angle towards the bounty rune, but got caught out by Aaron, killed off, and Team Disillusion finding themselves the first blood for A in it. And it could get even better. They could also get the additional bounty rune, ran Fu down, make sure that it happens. And they also drop some blood grenades. Someone's gonna die. What a start to the game. This is the most base thing in the world. Drops a reflection on the way out, but it's not gonna matter. Team Disillusion, 2 kills, some bounty runes, a first blood. However, I've seen this before, Fluke. I'm not gonna get you baited into thinking they win the game over this.
It's a lot of gold. It is a lot of gold to start out the game, but it's all about how you use that gold in the opening couple of minutes. It's not game-breaking, but it definitely is a good start to the game for them to be able to come out on top. The one thing now is Aaron won't have Chakra for another level, so they're going to have to just do this all natty in the bottom lane. And unfortunately for Ayanid, he has to deal with Reflection as well as Decay. So they are 2 spells that are very hard for the Beastmaster to deal with, because you can't do all too much. You can't purge away the Reflection, and you just have to constantly deal with the Decays. So this lane has started well, but can it continue to go well? Because as you said, Terrorblade's going to have a pretty free game this time around, and if Summer just gets off to a good start, we've seen what Terrorblades can do, and I mean, we obviously know what Summer Terrorblade can do as well. So,
yep. The enemy team, though, they have a Medusa. We've seen what this hero can do, and currently, Ranfu Dao is helping her out to ensure she gets her CS. The Doom Shadow Demon, annoying as it might be, I don't perceive this Medusa having any kind of difficulties in this lane. Should be pretty much free farm for her.
Yeah, very much a trade lane. We're going to get as much out of Dolme as we're going to get out of Lonfer this time around. Probably definitely feels a little bit better for Team Disillusion, because this is one of the lanes they really don't have to worry about. But they definitely do have some of these side lanes, or I mean, one of the side lanes as well as their mid lane that they want to try and put a bit of emphasis on. If Small KK gets off to a good start and can kind of shut down this Pangolier, get some rotations coming in from Ranfu Dao, they can secure a kill or 2, and he gets to the point where I've seen this Echo Saber timing, and it is very, very scary. Like, you can't run away from a Darkseer because he has Surge, and then he just chops you twice, and then he just sticks on top of you with an Iron Shell, and it's, for a lot of these supports, almost impossible to deal with.
I really want to see what Small KK is going to do. This guy has entertained us quite greatly from the mid lane. Down bottom, Aaron I'm not going to be enjoying the entertainment of being mauled down by this Terrorblade. Meta got popped. Man, that feels so good. Like, you're already going to be popping your first meta anyway to farm the wave. Getting a kill out of it as well. Woo! Summer's off to a good start. Well, this is just revenge for the earlier kill that he suffered, though.
Yeah, to be fair, I think he realized that he may have made a small mistake with that first rune, walking directly into a Vengeful Spirit, but he makes up for it, so doing pretty good. Biggest thing for me is the CS is really starting to be dominated now by Holy Grail. Yeah, some of the lanes might not have too many issues when it comes to dying or any kill threat, but Aeonid is really struggling in this bottom lane. He kind of only really can go up to the wave to try and kill stuff with his wild axes, and as long as Eren is away, then they still can't really abuse the fact that they have blinding light to keep SJ away from him, and SJ just stands and trades with him. And now that he's got a Lotus as well, he's more than happy to take any trade that Aeonid wants to have because he has that special little flower in his back pocket.
Gonna have to see Aeonid really do something spectacular here. In this laning phase, only 9 CS for the moment. We kind of expect that. Fortunately, he is playing with a Coddle, so there is ways of being able to stack up these camps for him with the Illuminate Blast, make it a bit easier for him to recover. But
yeah,
that will require him to play safe.
They've got a lot of heroes that can really take stacks, which is a big thing here for Team Disillusion. So I would love to see Eren fall back and make a few more stacks. He has made one on the hard camp here towards the Ancient side, but is there any more that Renfrew Dow has made? No, it appears not. So we've got one small stack to go towards, and I mean, it depends on who's doing the worst or doing the best about whether or not you're going to give the stack to one player or another, but all of their cores can clear stacks really fast. So that's a big positive for Team Disillusion, that if they get to this 10-minute mark where a lot of their stacks are able to be done, then they should be able to rocket up in the net worth.
See, Ranfuda was helping to just secure some rune in the mid lane. How's Dolem doing right now? I mean, it's Doom, whatever. God, I was actually really hoping that Doom would fall out of the meta. But he remains in it. What can you? I'm actually feeling a bit selfish though, because prior 7-3-3, with the 2-year patch, I was spamming Doom every other game. It was awesome. Yeah. And then I started playing carry. I'm like, wow, playing into Doom sucks, dude. This hero's awful.
It's always the double-edged sword of being a player who plays multiple roles, is you get really obsessed with like one hero and then you play against it and you're like, God, this sucks. The same thing with me with Underlord. Is like spam Underlord for years, right? And then I start playing carry and I'm playing this like agi right clicker and I'm like, why am I literally tickling this guy? And I'm like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I do to every other carry. So double-edged sword.
Down bottom, Aeonid might be just suffering just straight up death. This is a solitary edge sword here. When they get ran down by these zombies, SJ finishes him off with the decay, while at the same time, Summer gets the kill onto Eren. Man, they are dominating this lane here, Fluke. Several kills, uber amounts of farm on this Terrorblade, and also the experience differential is starting to be a problem. Summer is level 5, while TB is the Beastmaster is level 3, dude.
Yeah, I mean, that all comes back to the fact that Summer has 16 deniers as well as his 35 last hits. So, yeah, this lane is not pretty to watch. This is a very big discrepancy in this lane. And I mean, TB as well as Undying is a very, very strong lane. I just thought that maybe they were able to put a little bit of extra pressure early on with the Wild Axes spam to at least force SJ to not be such a kind of tank in this lane. And unfortunately for Eren, he lost his life, twice in this lane now, and Aeonid's died once as well. So it's just not going to get better for them, and I think they have to try and get experience elsewhere.
Well, experience is going to be gotten on the map, but not for the Dire heroes, unfortunately. As Eren just watching and being like, ha, I'm glad it's not me, bro. Your turn to die, Ranfuda. As Khan able to utilize the first Rolling Thunder. It always feels really good when you're playing one of these mobile mid-heroes, these Pangos, these Embers, whatever, when the first gank or / kill that you make comes to you rather than you having to go to it. You keep the tower alive, you get to put pressure in the opposite direction, and you don't have to worry about wasted cooldowns on your spells.
Yep, just farming the wave up as well. All the while, though, we are seeing Small KK is starting to take some of these jungle camps away. They haven't gone into the stack just yet. They are starting to build that up. I think they're probably going to be leaving that for Lonfer, but this is where he's really able to accelerate as a Darkseer. You've got Vacuum, you've got the Iron Shell, so you can kind of just clear out these camps that are close to your mid-tier 1 and then come back, clear the creep wave, and then rinse and repeat that constantly, whereas the Pango, much more has to stay in the lane, a little more static, especially with no rolling thunder. And this is where Small KK can abuse that and hopefully get to his first big item timing and make some rotations, preferably towards the bottom side of the map.
I'm gonna see how things roll with this Echo Saber on the Doxia once it arrives. I wonder, actually, Harpoon Doxia, thoughts? Tell me.
Probably sounds pretty good, but I think he's also one of those heroes that just likes the Echo Saber first, and then you can go into like, I think your Ags is almost a must as one of these heroes when you're playing into some illusion heroes. So you go in, you get the normal punch, and then you get the second hit with the Echo Saber proc, and you can kind of just stay on top of people, and also makes you extremely tanky. So it's not hard for you to stick on top of these heroes just yet. Oh, Aaron just gets away with the surge. So that's big.
Fine. Gets the surge, get able to run away. Small KK, though, got caught out with the poison, and now they don't have surge anymore, so he might actually die here. It is big that they saved Aaron, but it might be even bigger if they can kill off Small KK. There's 4 Shadow Poison stacks on him. Is he gonna take out? No, he doesn't. Illuminate Blast coming in clutch. He's okay, has a regen rune. And Gan unfortunately missed one of the bouncers back, so they didn't have the chain disable necessary to kill him off.
Yeah, I think Garn was a little concerned about continuing to roll in towards double iron shells.
Did he just die to a flag bearer with iron shell? It's so funny.
Darkseid, baby. Iron shell, too good. He almost has Echo out of that, so it's a nice little start here for Small KK. Feeling pretty strong when it comes to his own net worth. He's second right now, behind a Doom and a Terrorblade, so that's not too bad for them. And I think they're going to have some pretty decent kill threat with Small KK plus Ramfu Dao.
Small KK is going to try to get this kill onto Gan. There's a level 3 shield crash, kind of hard to accomplish. And SJ dropped down a tombstone. So this does not end up going anywhere. But one of the great things about trying to make these moves happen with Doxia, this costs nothing. Like, you're just like, okay, cool. 0 cooldowns used. I'm using Iron Shell. I'm just going to go right back to doing what I was already doing. So I think they're pretty okay with it, even though they don't get the kill in the mid lane.
Garn seems to be hunting for something. They really wanted to try and catch out Small KK, but they didn't have Rolling Thunder at the ready just yet. But it means they're going to kill Unfer, and they do need to start getting a little active here. Do Holy Grail. Yes, their Terrorblade's farming. Yes, Dolme's farming as well. But you have a Pangolier. You want to try and start hitting some of these item timings and be a scary hero on the map. Because otherwise, they will out-farm you on Team Disillusion.
It's Medusa. She's second in the net worth charts right now. Small KK has a lot of net worth too. Feels like a very greedy game on both sides though. And I like the fact that we have a very even gold distribution, and it feels like all the lanes somehow able to recover. Like 4.2k net worth relative to the game he's been having. That's actually phenomenal. So they haven't lost their tower either. They can just keep farming it up. And I like what you said about them having to be active on the Radiant lineup. They smoke up with Garn and SJ. Lanfa is still in the vicinity. He doesn't have Stone Gaze as well. He doesn't have a held point either. So if they doom him, he's dead. There we go. Bye-bye. Tombstone dropped. Rolling Thunder used. Team Disillusion not even bothering to come and save him. They know what's up.
Yep. He was Omega dead. And if they fought into that as well, you're fighting into Tombstone, you're fighting into Rolling Thunder. Like, it's a very hard team fight for you to slow react to.
Summer?
He's dead.
Terrorblade? Playing 1v3 inside this wall? Gonna get himself killed off though. Bro, he literally just walked back in by himself. He saw the 3 heroes and he just chilled. Then he died. What's happening this game to Shylock?
That is... Yeah, that's not something that you wanted to see if you're Holy Grail. You get the kill on the Medusa, you start to slow this game down, and you're like, Terrorblade's going to hit creeps. And then you see him in the mid lane, he gets vacuumed back onto the high ground, and you're like, what?
Oh,
now, DQQ's in trouble as well on the bottom side. Ayanid, who doesn't have extra axes, so couldn't find the kill. So, I mean, Team Disillusion, they're doing a fantastic job right now. Even though their offlane went very poorly, they've recovered nice and well. I believe Ayanid took some of those stacks as well, because he's up towards 60 CS right now. So that's a big positive for him. And Garn just hasn't been able to connect on too many of these ganks just yet. Yes, they do kill Lawnfur top, but that was off the back of Dolme with the Doom, and he's really starting to fall behind. Sitting at 4.8k net worth, he's further behind than what Ayanid is.
Yeah. Very, very surprising. Small KK. Hey, what a boss. DPC is building Harpoon. They're going to swap back onto the Pango with Ranfu Da, who just got the level 6. And Small KK now even closer to the Harpoon. Harpoon, Blink, Aghanim Scepter. Man, this is some exciting stuff. I have so many things to tell Lyrical after this game. It's pretty hot.
He's going to do a lot of damage. He's going to be really tanky too. And I think that's the scary part about playing into this Darkseer is like, yeah, he's a melee hero. He has to run in and he has to be in the fight to deal damage with his Iron Shell and his auto attacks. But look at him right now. He's 1500 HP. You know, he's going to have a few more of these stats coming in. I think he's going to be tossing up whether or not he goes straight for the Harpoon and, or goes into the Blink. I feel like with the start that he's had, I think Harpoon's just better. You just get a few more of these stats. You don't really need Blink right now because Harpoon is kind of one of those pseudo Blinks, but he wants to try and play a little bit faster with his team to get the Blink Dagger. And if he keeps killing Garn, like this is where it really starts to turn bad for Holy Grail because they just start out way too slow and their Pangolier isn't able to get it in this game. And they have to sit back and wait for their Terrorblade to come online. And by that point, you're dealing with 3 farm cores from the side of Team Disillusion.
A lot of this dynamism will have to come from our Doom from Dolem. He's the one that's doing really, really well. Sadly, Doom is not really that hero. He's going to get jumped on for good measure right now. The Wall of Replica from Small KK revealing his Blink Dagger. And they will eliminate Dolem off the map. Man, Small Cake, dude, I've been loving watching this guy play. Like, I remember you mentioned at the very start of the division that Aenid has been the one that's been catching your eye watching Team Disillusion. But over the weeks, man, Small KK just puts a smile on my face. Even when he's losing, he's still entertaining me. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I think he's really kind of changed the style of play. I think for me, Small KK was very much a traditional mid laner. He's Leshrax. He's, you know, a lot of his spirit heroes were very, very strong. But now he's winning these fights and gets himself a Wisdom Rune off the back of it as well. Or could have potentially tried to go for a kill there on the Summer, knowing that there is at least Thunder available. But he stole the Wisdom Rune, so Small KK is doing a really good job at, I don't want to call him Thompson 2.0, but he's definitely starting to slide down that mold where he's got these amazing traditional mid heroes, and then he's always got these weird heroes that he likes playing in the mid lane too.
So many of them are like these melee heroes as well. These Earthshakers, now Darkseer. Very entertaining player. And they still have managed to maintain control of their tier 1 tower mid. Beautiful vacuum on the 3. There's no wall, however. So Garn able to go off with the Rolling Thunder, stunning up Aaron and the boys. They throw out a Primal Roar onto Dolem. They will be able to eliminate DQQ, but losing Ranfu down in the process. Lanfa showing himself for the first time in any of these engagements, just to try and take down the Tombstone and go right back to farming. Okay, so 1-for-1, Shadow Demon for Venge. Overall, though, I guess you're okay with this if you're on the side of the Dire, because you held the tower for a second longer, but there's no way that it stays alive any longer than this.
Yeah, I think they also kind of just put the fear of God into Holy Grail as well is kind of a thing, right? Like, posturing in a lot of these games and making those plays kind of just forces certain players to play in a way, right? Like, if you're walking up to a high ground now and going into these fights, you kind of have to be expecting Small KK to be kind of just jump on you at any given point. If he had the wall, you just say, oh, that's just a regular jump that anybody would take. But he did that without wall, and they just wanted to try and put a little bit of damage in, and they were eventually able to get themselves a kill for it. So it's not the worst, but playing into this Crimson Guard that's early on from Dolme kind of nullifies everything that Lonfer wants to do. You saw how little damage he did. And SJ, he's a mega dead.
Bro,
What a dirty
Small
combo.
KK is owning this game. Yeah, that's actually sick. Solar Bind, Blinding Lights with Iron Shell, Vacuum. Oh my god. And Small KK still has Blink Dagger. And they're going to have Vacuum again in 8 seconds. But for now, they just want to maybe get a kill on top of the rune. The DQQ Demonic Purge went out, but sadly, that will not save him. Will end up being killed off by Small KK, who's on an unstoppable streak on this Darkseer. Bro, Lyrical once actually sat me down, right? We were driving somewhere together. He literally spent 30 or 40 minutes telling me how good mid Darkseer is. I didn't believe, I'll be honest. I had skepticism. I was not a faithful one, but this Small KK is a prophet, man. I'm starting to believe in this evangelism.
Was that pre or post Universal Hero Darkseer?
Oh, pre. This was like 4 months ago.
Okay. I can understand the skepticism. I think as a Universal Hero, if you're a Universal Hero, you can kind of play anywhere. I think that's obviously the point of the stat, but very good heroes to be able to play in the mid lane.
They're going to be able to take the tier 1 tower, and they come in for at least an assassination. They bring down the Coddle, but they don't find any of the more prestigious targets. Lanfer TP's out, Small KK blinks away. And Team Disillusion will happily take the trade of not just Coddle's life at the tier 1, but look how many heroes he drew to the top lane. Literally everybody is here from the Radiant lineup, and they didn't find anything substantial off of it.
Yeah, they're just kind of pulling Holy Grail around the map. The net worth hasn't really been able to blow out just yet, but you can just see Garn slowly sliding further and further away because Aiden's been able to pick up this Aghanim Scepter. So he's going to farm really, really fast in the Beastmaster, and eventually when he starts coming into these fights, they can start to flex that 2k gold lead that they already have here. And this is all without Small KK having his Aghanim Scepter. He is 500 gold away from that, and that's when things get really scary.
Mid lane, we're gonna have a swap into a kill onto DQQ. SJ and them are caught inside the wall vacuum combination. Small KK and Ionid, they have so much AoE damage. This is not a fight they want to take for Holy Grail. The stun goes out onto Dolem as Lanfer is also here for this fight. They solo bound SJ, killing off this Undying first, and maybe looking for another target. Dolem did pop the BKB just to escape, but BKB doesn't make you immortal anymore, and it's about to expire. He's gonna die regardless. Small KK though, turned his attention rather towards Garn, as the Pangolier went in to run interference, but they make a beautiful play. Fluke, that was actually poetry. Aaron puts the solar bind out onto the Doom so he can't run away. They turn their attention back to Garn, and then they still go back to kill the Darkseer, with the Darkseer combo to kill the Doom. Team Dissolution, man, this team is very fun to watch because every now and then they just pop the hell off just like this.
Well, this is what we talked about going into this series, right? Is sometimes Team Dissolution, they play really, really well. And this is one of those times. I think they've come in with a very solid idea about how they wanted to play the game. Small KK is doing his thing. And this just alleviates a whole lot of the pressure that we have on Lanfer to be that end-all, be-all carry. Because he's just sitting back and he's just farming, man. And this was almost a pure 4v4. They did lose DQQ early on in this fight, but you can just see how much easier it is for Team Dissolution to play these fights. They've got Vacuum, they've got Surge, they've got Solar Bind, they've got stuns coming in from the bench, they've got Swap, Raw, all that stuff. And if Holy Grail don't get a good disconnect from the side of Team Dissolution, they're just going to get perma-chased. And there's no amount of resistances that are going to save you in this game. They will just be chased down, and the damage that Team Dissolution does will not stop.
You know, when you say they need a good disconnect, in my mind, I thought, what, are we advocating for some DDoS? That's the only way back in this game. Pull someone's cable. It's tough right now, though. This side's tough. They have Terrorblade, yes. They have Shadow Demon. They have Doom. They have Pango. But, you know, another thing that we spoke about coming into this game, the reason we weren't necessarily favoring Dissolution, despite loving their draft, is that we were scared about their coordination and execution on the map. We're worried about the wrong team, Fluke. This game, it has mostly been Holy Grail that feels fairly disconnected from one another. I mean, Garn's gonna try to get a solo kill now onto Aaron. Should be able to succeed in doing so. Oh, I say that, but he's not. Blinding Light, he doesn't have enough damage. And this is part of the problem, right? They haven't connected with enough of his moves. So now he feels super lackluster in the game.
Yeah, this is the one issue that you can run into with Pangolier is when he's behind, he isn't able to do everything that he wants to, right? Like in other games, say he was close to 12k like everybody else, that's an extra item on top. He would have Aghanim Scepter and probably Blink, and he would have killed Aaron there. But whether this game has panned out, is Garn's having a rough start to the series. To be fair, I will say with Holy Grail, a lot of their series have gone all the way to 3 maps.
That's true.
So maybe there might be a team that is a little bit slow to start in a lot of these series. Maybe they are underestimating Team Disillusion with this mid Darkseer who is putting on a show right now. This game is getting very hard for them though, just because Garn is so far behind that it's going to take a while for this Pangolier to get back into this game. And the question is, how much do they lose before then? Lanfer has Skadi and Manta at this point. He's going to go towards the Lincolns, which is going to save him from a lot of the issues that he's going to have in the mid game. And what's going to happen when both these 5-man rosters go head to head, right? Like, is the TB strong enough right now? Does Summer feel like that he can stand toe-to-toe with the Medusa? I wouldn't imagine so, but I think they need to try and get something out of these fights before everybody dies.
Yep. Gonna be a fight coming soon. Aaron and Aenid smoking up right now, looking for a pincer maneuver behind the Holy Grail lineup, and they reveal the Blink Dagger from Aenid. Jumping directly onto SJ, killing him off. Very nicely done. There's not much for them to claim through this mid lane, though. So this is one of these kills that for Holy Grail, they're like, thank God it's only SJ dying, because they have been chain feeding for the last several minutes. they'll take their little bit of reprieve while the Primal Roar is still down for now.
Yeah, it gives them that extra bit of time to get some of the BKB, which can be important in these fights. But just look at the items that Team Disillusion have. They've got themselves a Guardian Greaves now on Aaron. They've got the Harpoon finished on Small KK, Blink Crimson Guard on Aeonid. There's an Aether Lens now for Ranfu down. I mean, if you're a pos 5 Venge, you're definitely happy with that. And Lonfo is really starting to close in on that Lincoln Sphere. So there are some good items coming up here for Holy Grail, but they just need to get that combination with their heroes. And you can see the desperation. Tholme has solo doomed Aaron in the top lane. They just need something on this map.
Fine, Aaron says, you can have me. It's all good, fam. Okay, cool. But they're not done just yet. They smoke up with some other heroes looking for a jump. Run food out. He is going to be scouted out by the demonic poison, or the shadow poison, but he swapped back to make sure that Dolem, there's no way in onto this Beastmaster right now. Ranfu Dao gets encroached upon by this Metamorphosis Terrorblade, and Aeonid forced to drop the Primal Roar onto Gon. Surrounded right now, Small KK comes in with a beautiful vac wall. Only able to kill off SJ for now, but Gon fell very low in the process. Summer, though, in the meantime, got himself a double kill here with this Terrorblade. And here's Small KK trying to put out this damage with this Aghanim Scepter. Threw in the normal punch onto Summer, but it's not going to be enough to threaten his life just yet. They do win the fight on the side of Holy Grail. At long last, they get themselves a successful engagement. And also Gon, at long last, able to find a decent fight for himself.
Yeah, if Gon went down there, I probably would have said that would be a bit sour note for him, but he survived in that fight. He's able to get himself a bit of gold, still leagues away from everybody else in the game. But the first step is always the most important one, so he's able to complete that. And Lonfo came in a little bit late, same did Small KK to those fights, and they weren't able to complete the team fight the way they wanted to. So a little bit of an overstep from Team Disillusion, but this is why Holy Grail are currently sitting 5-0 in the tour, is the fact that they are very, very good when it comes to the macro game, and just a good team in and of themselves. And if they ever find an opportunity to try and claw back into this game, they will take it. They took that one. So what they've got, Blink Aether Lens now onto DQQ, so he's definitely in a good spot. The question is, for me, is what items does someone need to go for? We can already see that a Butterfly is coming out for Lonfo, so you'd imagine there's going to be MKB on the horizon, but hasn't really gone for these uber tanky kind of Terrorblade items. Yeah, he's got a lot of strength items, but doesn't have things like the Manta style to try and play around with. Obviously, a lot of these illusions aren't going to be that great, but not having the Skadi as well means he just doesn't have that 3000 HP Terrorblade that we usually see in these games.
Mid lane, Small KK. Speaking of illusions, he did drop a wall, able to proc some illusions onto Gon, but they don't have enough damage. Pango rolling away. He's pretty chilled. So, question, Fluke, right? So this Medusa, she goes... She buys Butterfly now. Terrorblade is going to go for MKB. If you're Terrorblade, is MKB more important for you now than getting the Aghanim Scepter? Because it does feel like they are a little bit light on the control. I would like a Terror Wave, maybe. What do you think?
I think the MKB is just raw damage for you, but the Aghanim Scepter is a bit more survivability.
Oh my god, speaking of damage, look how much mana got just immediately taken away from Lonfo thanks to the swashbuckle. They can't kill Ranfu Dao though because the Medusa did throw in the Stone Gaze, but now they realize there's no more Stone Gaze, so Ranfu is the priority target. They're coming in onto this Medusa. They've already killed off the supports. Now the Medusa's gone, Aeonid in danger as well. Try to throw in the Primal Roar to buy himself space and time, but DQQ is there with the Blink Disruption, and they will ensure the kill onto the BM. 4 heroes fall, Summer stays living, and the more important pickup, the Medusa, that's her second death in this game. And to make matters even worse, Summer is the one credited with that kill as well as 2 others.
Yeah, I think he kind of surprised himself with the amount of damage that he did to Medusa. And, you know, coming in with a freshly picked up Butterfly, you feel pretty immortal if you do so, right? Like, you're feeling like, yeah, I'm pretty strong. I've got a Kono behind me with Chakra Magic. We've got Guardian Greaves. There's Swap to save me, but it just didn't work out that way. And now you're getting to the point where, oh, this is massive.
Oh, shit. Small KK. Blink, Aghanim Scepter, Vacuum Wall. 3 heroes gone.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. He just solo zoned back the enemy team by himself, salvages the Roshan for his team. Alright, I'm calling it right now, Fluke. Win, lose, or draw, Small KK is the MVP of game 1.
Oh, yeah. What a freak. He's 9-0-7 on the Darkseer. And as you said, solo holding that Roshan. And I was just about to, have a chat about the Terrorblade. Winning that fight with not needing MKB probably leads him towards building other items until it starts getting scary for them to play up against the Butterfly. So you can see that he bought out most of the Aghanim Scepter. And if you have Ags with an Aegis on top of that, these next couple of fights would have been very rough for Team Disillusion because TB has been an issue. But look at that 4-man back wall, normal punch, see you later. Garn dies in the background. I'm surprised he didn't get the ultra kill, to be perfectly honest. I thought he should have been able to kill all 4 of them, but this is why people froth over Darkseer. And I think him turning into a universal hero just unlocks him to be a much stronger core than kind of just an aura bot that we've seen of the past. And this is a very scary hero to be thinking about now when you're playing a lot of these illusion carries. So teams in the future are definitely going to have to look up this one, I think.
Do you think they made Darkseer a universal hero because Universe played him?
I guess.
Don't judge me, it's early in the morning. Earthshaker is not. It's not. Not yet. Well, not yet. Not yet.
Rest in peace. I wonder if they're going to add more heroes that are currently in the game to Universal. That's an Ice Frog question right there. Aaron, she is asking the question why Ice Frog created Pangolier.
Yep. Man, what a change in fortunes, Holy Grail. Like you said, showing why they are the pole position team. Despite the fact that the game has not been going well, Garn hasn't been able to find a lot of fights. They've been losing their lives on this Terrorblade. They were not playing skittish on the game. Like, the fact that a lot of these fights that they've been winning have still been in advanced places on the map makes it hard for Disillusion to put pressure on them even when they do win these engagements.
Yeah, and Team Disillusion just haven't been able to get a stranglehold of the game just yet. The couple of fights that Lonfer's been in, I feel like he's been pretty skittish. Obviously, the previous fight where he goes down is never good for Medusa because that makes you feel a lot more tepid in a lot of these different scenarios where you're just getting ran at by a Terrorblade and you're like, well, I can't just stand there and fight anymore. So it changes the way that you have to try and play the game. So yeah, Holy Grail have done a really good job at making sure their map doesn't shrink too much, but I think this 5-man convergence from Team Disillusion could potentially be one of the nails in the coffin of Holy Grail.
Still 11 Aegis for 3 minutes to work with on this Medusa. Lanfa is going to post up, pushing onto the tier 2 tower. And they weren't able to find anything with their smoke, unfortunately. However, through the mid lane,
Small KK.
Anybody that shows behind is going to die. Small KK getting jumped on here by the entirety of Holy Grail. They doom him up as well. Feels like I even forgot that spell is in this game. But Small KK will definitely not forget. It's been applied onto him. He's getting killed off. And reinforcements have arrived, but they come a little bit too late. They did get the Primal Roar out onto this Doom at the moment. Lotus Orb protecting this Doom, allowing them to run down Ranfu Dao instead. Lanfa has shown up. Does have Stone Gaze available, and they don't really have an appetite to fight the Medusa. I say that though, but she's lost quite a bit of mana here, Fluke. They've got 2 Diffusal Blades on their Radiant lineup, so it's not the easiest place for her to be. Dolem thinking about jumping back into this fight. He's got the Blink Centaur Conqueror War Stomp, and they need to run. Lanfa's actually dead. He's gone. Oh no, they missed the swashbuckle, but they will not miss the stun from Dolem. They get the kill onto Aaron, and they will turn back on the Converge onto the Medusa. Aaron forced to buy back. They need some additional resources to protect her, but can they actually do so? Summer pops BKB, trying to right-click her down. Stone Gaze will trigger onto him, but the disruption wastes most of that duration. And when they come back, the question is, can Lanfa get out of here? The slows coming in from the Skadi has taken away most of the mana with the Diffusal Blade as well. And look at this Medusa, she's dying at the same time. Garden to Crew will turn on to Ironhead instead, who threw his own body in the line, Fluke, to protect the Medusa. It ends up being worth it because Lanfa does live, but another teamfight victory for Holy Grail, and they get a dieback out of the Coddle.
Yeah, and I think this kind of all comes back to some of the recent nerfs that we're seeing with the Medusa, right? It really does feel like that she is just really not at the stage that she used to be. And Terrorblade is constantly winning when it comes to these reflections because the amount of damage that he did in that team fight, a lot of it came from his reflections, right? Because he was reflecting with the Medusa multiple times and her split shot works. So it is very hard for a lot of these other heroes to stay in these fights when they're getting hit by their own big Medusa. And TB just seems like kind of the king of the jungle with the item build that he's got here, right? Like he gets the extra duration with the Terror Wave. And he doesn't really feel like he needs MKB. Like, it's still a great item, mind you, in this game for him to have it. You just completely bypass the butterfly, but he's doing so much damage without it. And obviously they've got Swashbuckle that does a lot of work for them. And this is just a really good testament of games are never over till they're over.
Yep. It's called defense of the ancients, not defense of the gold lead or defense of the lanes. If your ancient still stands, the game still has an option, and top lane SmokeKK is dead. What a blink away. If he doesn't blink right then and there, he dies. Warstomp was coming off cooldown in a second, and they would have jumped him, but did manage to get himself away. Close score.
Yeah, DQQ just... This is kind of one of the issues they have with their draft is just their catch is a little rough to execute, especially into the Lincoln Spheres. So keeps himself alive, does SmokeKK. Now we're going to see an MKB for Lon first, so preempting the butterfly that's coming out for the Terrorblade. Also just means that she does a decent amount of damage, full stop, throughout.
Do you actually buy Butterfly on Terrorblade this game?
No, I don't think so. But I'm just trying to think, like, what else does he protect? Oh, there's a Talisman of Evasion on the Undying, so he's going to try and burn through that. Like, it doesn't get through Halberd, but it at least makes this Undying not impossible for you to kill.
Undying Metal is going to try and get a kill onto SmokeKK, him and the crew. And with the Demonic Purge, they ensure SmokeKK is going to struggle to escape here. However, Aaron showing the value of this cuddle. Might not be the best in offensive capacities or at the more advanced stages of the game, but defensively, pretty excellent. SmokeKK gets to live.
Just, if there was an extra Demonic Purge coming out there from DQQ, that definitely would have been a free kill on the SmokeKK. So one big issue for him is Shadow Demon actually nullifies his hero if he does get a Demonic Purge. So once the second Interceptor comes out for DQQ, which he's, what, 600 gold away from? That's going to be very hard for SmokeKK to play the game. Constantly having his Iron Shield purged, constantly having his Surge purged. Like, it is going to be a rough time to be a Darkseer, and that's why I'd hope that Team Disillusion were able to get a stranglehold in this game. But Holy Grail have just done such a magnificent job at not losing too much and giving up enough that it means they weren't losing the parts of the map they actually wanted.
Yep. Poor Aaron. Dude, Dolem, did Aaron do something to you, bro? Did something happen in a pub? Did he, like, borrow money and not pay you back? Does he owe you a drink? What's going on? Jeez, Dolem has just had a hate boner for this Coddle in this game.
Yeah, that's a couple of times. I mean, to be fair, Coddle, he has Glimmer Cape as well as Guardian Greaves, so to execute a kill like that, you probably want to doom him. Because Dusa, I thought she was building Lincoln Sphere. Looks like she's gone away from that. You can't really doom SmokeKK because he's got a Lincoln Sphere, so throw it out. But it definitely does feel like something has happened. She's just like, nah, son. Like, you ain't getting away from me this time around.
All I'm saying, fam, is that we need to look at the Weibo DMs before we see homies. Find out what's going on. Get into the WhatsApp group, see who's been talking that trash. Right now, the Holy Grail. One thing I've been loving about how they've approached this game is not simply how they've approached the map, but Summer, you can tell that this man is a Terrorblade specialist. Look at all the items he has, right? BKB, Diffusal, Sanjay Yasha, Aghanim Scepter, as well as the Silver Edge. Outside of Diffusal, none of these items give anything to the Darkseer when you get caught inside the wall. So, makes him, he understands exactly how to play the hero to minimize giving away too much. And if there was no Darkseer, I guarantee you would have bought Scotty, Butterfly, those kind of items in this game, but he recognizes the danger potentially of that itemization route.
Very true. And we do see it a decent amount against these Illusion Stealers.
Okay. Rolling Thunder on to SmokeKK. Can they kill him? He has 4,000 health, but with 5 heroes around him, they should be able to bring him down. Ranfu Dao try to help, and there will be a very nice back wall pretty much on the 3 heroes, but they need more follow-up. Gon is already gone. Dolem is losing a lot of HP here as Lanfer throwing out a lot of right-click damage with this Medusa, zoning back the support with the Stone Gates, freezing up this Undying. Lanfer just wants these kills. DQQ will fall. SJ able to go to the north, but can't help out the rest of the lineup as he just TPs away to safety. So yes, they do get SmokeKK, but definitely not a cheap engagement from them as we finally get to see the reinforcements arrive just in time for this fight.
Yeah, I thought that swap wasn't going to be too helpful because Ranfu now basically swapped him into more members of Holy Grail, but it was just enough for him to be able to get Vacuum Wall off. And I think that's a big thing of Darkseer's team fight is just getting Vacuum Wall off on multiple members. And that was all that he really needed because Lonfer was able to come in after the fight had engaged and find himself a good spot to get the Stone Gaze off and do a lot of damage. So a lot of these fights are really going to come down to how the initiation goes, right? Like if Holy Grail jump in and they instantly delete one player, then it's hard for Team Disillusion to come back in and fight, especially if that one player is Lonfer. And same thing with Team Disillusion. If they're on the back foot, it's hard for them to enable their Medusa in these fights because they have really built up this draft to enable her. And these next couple of minutes are going to be very important about who captures who. Like Blink Roar is going to be very, very important. Blink Doom is going to be very, very important. And a lot of these cores need to make sure that they're not putting themselves in bad positions because bad positions on these lanes can be punished very hard with both these lineups.
Yep. 2K gold lead, pretty much nothing at this stage of the game. We now wonder about the next Roshan. He's going to be up in 10 seconds. And it is nighttime, so we're looking at a dire-sided Roche. Holy Grail starting to ping this one out. And Disillusion will also be aware of how important this Roshan can be. So it looks like the game might change here, but there's a Demonic Purge going out onto Aaron, and they're going to be able to kill him off. Make them take a little bit of time, though, and they did try to drop a vac wall to protect him, but it wasn't enough. At the same time, Lonfer rolls into the fight with the ultimate, but look at the high ground jump from Summer. Also trying to get out these terror waves. The Doom will go in onto this Beastmaster. The Aghanim Scepter is there for Dolem, so they will be able to chase down Aeonid. It's taking them a little bit of time, though. They don't have a Skadi, remember, on this TV, but the kill eventually does happen. On the other end of the fight, though, look at Small KK and Lonfer mopping up the rest of Holy Grail. When you take your two strongest heroes, the Doom and the TB, away from the Radiant lineup, turns out this Medusa is actually not dealable with the remaining three. Excellent fight from the Dire lineup. They don't keep everybody alive, but they keep the fight in their favor, and they take their positioning in advance of the Roshan respawn.
Yeah, so that was a big fight for them, and this is where a lot of the target prioritization is probably going to be nitpicked by a lot of people. Going on to the Beastmaster, had already used his Roar and his BKB as well as his Refresher. Probably wasn't going to be as helpful in that fight, but you want to try and make sure that you're securing some of these core kills, especially with the network that he has. But they just weren't able to reconnect fast enough, or at least, you know, buy a bit of space against the Medusa and Small KK, that the fight went long enough that with only 2 cores left alive, it was too hard for them to re-engage. And now they give up an Aegis again onto this Medusa. Small KK is moving towards his scary item with the Silver Edge is going to be the next thing that he wants to try and go for. So he's going to do a lot of damage. If he catches, like, I mean, maybe the Doom or even the Terrorblade and punches them with the break, that's just going to be a lot of damage that Small KK does initially in these fights.
Silver Edge Darkseer, baby. Okay. Yep. Fluke. This tour, we've seen some things, brother.
Yeah.
We've learned about Dota this tour. It's been very exciting stuff. I'm actually going to check how many times. Oh, guess what? This Silver Edge? First time in a professional match that's been done on a Darkseer.
Giga Chad. And he's almost got overwhelming Blink too. Like, he's basically at the point where the next thing he's going to do is, like, probably eat a Moonshot and his Ags. And then at that point, Darkseer is kind of, I don't want to say impossible to deal with, but he is going to be karate chopping so hard and so fast that if he's not instantly dealt with, or at least I think you kind of have to doom him. And in these fights, he's just going to Iron Shell himself. He'll probably Iron Shell Medusa. Eventually, he's going to, actually, he already has it, have the AoE Surge. So if he surges a couple of people in these fights, the lack of lockdown is going to be very evident for Holy Grail.
Bro, he's rocking a Defiant Shell, and he has 400 damage. That's a huge counter hit that comes back into you. What a player. Small KK, man. Legend. He's gonna get doomed up right now, though. Dolem and Summer, they're like, all right, buddy, you didn't see us in the last fight. Guess what? We can kill you still. What's up? Small KK gets eliminated from play. AoE Doom, man. I actually don't even know why this was added into the game. It's so good. It's way too good.
I'm very, like, I don't know, in two minds about it. Like, on paper, AoE Doom, hell yeah, that sounds sick. People can't get away with it. Lincoln Spheres, doesn't matter. But also, I feel like with the AoE of it, sometimes it can really just be not good. Like you get in, you doom somebody for like half a second and then they just dip out of it or they push you away or what have you. And then you don't really turn into much. And then you're kind of just running around with yourself being doomed and it kind of feels pretty bad. So I don't know. It's obviously good when you pair it up with some stuns and stuff, but it definitely has ways of being outplayed.
It does, but what if you just put on the enemy? Then you still get the AoE. I feel like you should get a choice. It would be better if the choice was, if you self-cast, you get the AoE, and then, I don't know, if you cast on the enemy, bring back the break. You know, you can take it off the 25. Put the break back on the primary target, and then the AoE if you cast on yourself. That feels a bit more fair. Because I don't like that you get both right now, right? It's the best of both worlds. It feels a little bit overtuned.
Yeah. So... either way, it's what they need right now to get the kills onto small KK. They do lose DQQ on the other side of the map, which is a little set. So they were trying to get a little bit of this advanced vision up, try and set up towards the top side of the map, because I think that might be the place that they want to try and execute on. There's not really that much vision for either one of these two teams. After the previous fight, the entire Dire jungle got cleared out of any of the vision that we had. So... we're looking now at the only bit of advanced vision is coming out now for Team Disillusion.
Oh, look at Disillusion. Look at this gank with Silver Edge, baby. Small KK found Summer. They get the Primal Rod onto him. Where's DQQ? He's dead, so he can't come in to save. What a gank. What a kill. Also, what a time to be alive. They threw in a Beastmaster Hawk first to scout this area, and then they connect with the gank thereafter, on top of the ward they had prior. This is an excellent demonstration of that old canard, play around your own vision.
Yep.
And it ends up being a massive reward for Team Disillusion.
And they also had a very tight window to get it done as well, right? DQQ only had like, what, 5-6 seconds left on his respawn by the time they're able to kill Summer. So there was a good execution of playing around your vision and understanding the position that you're in as well. Self-Doom goes down for Tolmay.
Oh my god. Two heroes caught, Ranfu Dao as well as Lanfer. Ranfu Dao will die first. He does have an illusion from the Aghanim Scepter, but that gets taken away without too much difficulty. They have DQQ with the Medusa illusions, so they are super strong. The Doom's gonna be able to ensure they kill off this Dusa. And although she has an Aegis, I have zero hope of her surviving round 2. She will try though. SJ, right in front of her. They disrupt actually the Medusa. That will buy time for reinforcements. Can they get here in time? Aeonid is here. Throws out the Primal Roar onto Dolem. And Lanfer, he just wants to get the hell out of here. They're jumping them though. Dolem finding another Centaur Conqueror War Stomp onto Ranfu Dao, who did buy back into this engagement. But they actually don't feel strong enough to go onto the Dusa. They don't have the TB with them. Dolem instead choosing to focus his efforts towards the D-push down bottom, and Lanfer gets to live.
Yeah, they went towards bottom and Small KK... ooh, I was going to say maybe the Hunter becomes the Hunter this time around, but it's not how it works out. And that was all without Small KK, and they took so much time to kill the Medusa that I think this is the reason why this Darkseer looks so strong in these team fights, because they just take so much time to kill both Darkseer as well as the Medusa that all it takes is for them to lose one bit of these spells. You know, Doom eventually wears out. Maybe they don't have the Terror Wave and all that kind of stuff. And Team Disillusion can kind of just draw out these fights and eventually win. And they're going to have the Light Globe as well here, Snare. And that's another factor that just makes it harder and harder for them to kill Dusa as well as the Darkseer. So they've done a good job so far, have Holy Grail at least getting some of these pickoffs with the gold that they have, but man, this game is going to get really, really hard for them to win. Going into some of these team fights, especially if Lanfer and Small KK are anywhere in the vicinity of each other.
Yep. Right now, Aaron gets swapped back out by Ranfu Dao. Ranfu Dao will probably end up dead here. It seems though that the hate they have for Aaron is not exclusive to just Dolem. The whole crew hates on him. But Medusa's also here. Lanfer. Oh my god. Terror Wave is going to be there. He does manage to get off the Stone Gaze, but I don't think this is going to save his life. Unfortunately, that's going to lead to a dead Medusa. Ranfu Dao also gets caught in and is going to die back on his Vengeful Spirit. Small KK came in on the back end of the fight, hoping to salvage it somehow. Unable to find anything. Forced to just skirt himself away with the Surge. Massive engagement from Holy Grail. Fluke, they got Lanfur again in this game.
Yeah, I thought it was just going to be like a free Ranfu Dow kill, or maybe even a kill onto Aaron, but Lanfur was just in the area, and with Ranfu Dow being sent off to the side, there was no swap to save his life. Small KK was towards bottom. Ayanid still trying to check his ping in the mid lane as well, so it's a little too hard for them to win that fight.
No. Well, he's going to have to check his ping in a harder way because he's been doomed out on bottom. At the same time, they're trying to run down Small KK. Doxia should live. We'll see if the same is true for Ayanid. As Ghan is here, Swashbuckle does connect. Not in range though for the inhibit on the Diffusal Blade just yet. So they might not actually find the kill. And they don't. Ghan didn't get there with the Rolling Thunder either. Aaron with the Glimmer Cape. Alright, with that Glimmer Cape play, I'm now understanding the hate they have for this man. We see it. Small KK able to get himself away from the other side of the fight. But he eventually does die. Too much tick damage coming in from the Shadow Demon. They're actually jumping inside the base to kill off Aaron. Forcing a buyback out of Small KK. Aaron did drop down the Ignis before going down, but it's not going to really accomplish anything. And here they are, trying to farm the high ground. Summer getting jumped on by Small KK. Ayanid able to find the Primal Row, but they don't have the follow-up. Lanfur is still dead. Ayanid gets jumped on by Dolem and Ghan and killed off by Summer. That opens up the first lane of Rax in the top lane. And the second lane is also waiting, beckoning through this mid lane. Man, what a game this has been, Fluke. And it could still go into very interesting directions because they do have Vac Wall. And I think Holy Grail just remembered, wait a second, they have Vac Wall, so they're going to back wall for now.
Yeah, just a series of unfortunate events there for Team Disillusion. They just were constantly getting caught out across the map, being chased away, not really much that they could do. And now that they've used buybacks on both Ayanid as well as Small KK, this is a big window for Holy Grail to come into. Like, look how big Summer is. He is a juggernaut in this game, and they're just going to walk towards Roche. Still a little bit of time, guys, until it will respawn. So 30 seconds until that comes out. But they've taken a big stranglehold on this game, and it feels like for the first time in this entire game that somebody has a real strong hold on how this game is going. Lanfur, I just haven't seen all too much of the Medusa's impact in these fights. It feels like he's constantly being sent into the disruption. He's being purged out. They're kiting him around with things like the Lincoln's, not the Lincoln's Sphere, the Lotus Orbs, as well as the Heaven's Halberd. So this is, I just haven't been able to see Lanfur's impact. And if Small KK and him are not combining in these fights, then Small KK can kind of just get ran at and be dealt by himself. And without your Darkseer, who I feel like is the strongest hero in your lineup right now, it is very hard for you to win these fights. And going into an Aegis and a Cheese and a Refresher, maybe Team Disillusion's window has currently closed on their fingers.
Fluke, remember like 30 minutes ago?
Yeah.
When Disillusion was crushing the game, owning, winning every fight, Small KK crushing. And even then I was like, I don't trust. Been here before.
I mean, this is the reason why that's Holy Grail are where they are, and Team Disillusion are where they are as well, right? Like this is what separates the good teams from the mid-tier teams in Division 2 specifically, is closing out games when you have leads. And Holy Grail have done a great job at not getting caught out too many times. There was that one moment where someone did get caught out by a beautiful bit of vision coming from Team Disillusion, but they basically hit right back.
Mid lane, they're trying to hit them right now with the Doom. They jumped in, but they have to run away right now. The Ayanid drops 2 rows onto Dolem. They just like, stay back, brother, get off of me. But here comes Terrorblade, jumping in with the Terror Wave on the back end of the fight. Got caught in by the Ignis. Lanfur, he's too far forward. He's underneath the Doom. He gets swapped in to try and save him, but they have the perfect read on him. Dolem has all the items they need. Medusa is gone, does have buyback, but the 2 supports do not. Both of them gone for 70 seconds plus. Darkseer won't be able to do everything by himself, and looks like Holy Grail with this Aegis are coming to end the game here, Fluke. They know they're strong enough, but Lanfur, he watching Small KK and saying, buddy, please do something miraculous. Did manage to kill off DQQ, and he's also escaping, drawing a lot of Radiant heroes with him. If he gets out of here, oh my god. All right, production, no matter what, I don't care what happens. Small KK MVP, please give this man his flowers, because my god, this is some premium Darkseer.
Yeah, he understands that he kind of just needs to buy time, right? It's only 30 seconds until we're going to be seeing some more of these heroes come back in. They do have the illusion from Ramfood out, so it's not like he's completely out of the game, but he's
Look
still
at
around.
Again, he's behind, gets a massive back wall onto all 5 heroes. Where's the follow-up though? Lonfer going in, they killed off SJ, gone. Does have a rolling thunder, but he's taking quite a lot of damage in the process. DQQ needs to watch himself. So does Summer. And Small KK still running interference. He's playing now on the triangle on Dire side by himself. Draws back all these heroes once more. This time, however, they can kill him off. And he does not have buyback. That is a huge pickup. Where was the follow-up? Man, Small KK can't do it all alone, Fluke. He needs his team to help him.
Yeah, Lonfer is just being chain stunned and kited, and he's just not able to do much in those fights. Like, yeah, he does a decent amount of damage because he's a Medusa, but you need to see your Medusa being able to dish out way more damage than that, and it is just too hard of a fight when the Medusa doesn't have BKB, she doesn't have a Lincoln Sphere. She's just trying to go in all natty, and there's just too many spells, too much kiteability, and too much movement from the side of Holy Grail.
Yep. Final fight potentially of this game. Lonfer gets swapped away from Dolem, but Ranfood out. Probably going to end up dead here. Does have the Aghanim Scepter, so the illusion will return. But their priority is the towers as well as the racks, and they've taken the mid lane from Holy Grail. Let's see what they can do down bottom. And actually finding Summer with the Primal Roar. DQQ there with the save. They also drop the Ignis on top of him, but here comes Dolem with this Doom directly on top of the Medusa, and she's the one that deals the necessary damage. Without her, they can't kill the Terrorblade even once, and it will die off instead. No buyback available for him any longer. And now they want the tier 3 tower. They still haven't taken away this Aegis. DQQ is yet again there with the save. The Thunder comes out from Summer onto Ranfu Dao's illusion. That's going to keep the Terrorblade's life still going. Gone. Jumping onto Lonfer, forcing out the Stone Gates, and they've already taken away all the mana from this Medusa. They force to get swapped back again, but Dolem, he's in with the chase. He wants to go for the jugular. He wants to kill off the Snake Lady. He knows that if he does, a GG will beckon soon thereafter. And as she dies, and all the heroes fall, there are no options remaining for the side of Team Disillusion. Tier 4 towers are going to get seized upon. They pop a cliff. But Fluke, all they're doing right now is talking about Game 2. Before this game ends, though, Scriff, pull up the win probability. Look how high it was at 20 minutes. What a comeback from Holy Grail.
Yeah, Holy Grail doing a really, really good job at just putting themselves in a position to win this game. And maybe we might get Small KK highlight reel here.
Let's see what he's got. Another wall being dropped down from him. He's trying to run himself away, but they have the tools to catch him out, finally kill him off. And that'll be the GG.